Right, welcome back to Bradshaw's workshop. I've finally got James's Lexus in the workshop and jacked up. That was a bit of a pain in the backside to get jacked up because the rear jacking point is so rusted that I don't even go near it with a jack. So I had to get the front corner up first and then got the back end up. There's an axle stand under there, axle stand there, and just for another measure, there's another axle stand hiding under there. So I thought I'd do a quick discovery video of the welding. Or the rust on James's Lexus. I'm quite shocked, to be honest. I don't even know where to begin doing this work. So if you watched the last video with the timing belt slipped, you'd have seen that some of this fell off, and as somebody's just described to me, this car is falling apart like a biscuit, a wet soggy biscuit. So let's give it a tap and see what happens, shall we? That's going there. Not too sure what's been put here, but seems like it's had a replacement. So moving on to the inside of the sill. This is the worst, I think. So we've got a gaping big hole here. And this is all what's supposed to be the jacking point. There's not much of it left, so we'll give it a tap, see what happens. Oh, bloody lovely. See if I can save that. No. So that's the majority of the loose stuff off. There seems to be another layer here, which you can lift, bend, do whatever you want with. Really. Oh, there we go. Look, the rest of the sill's just caved in. There we go. Oh, look at that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 sections of this sill now that have gone. Oh, hello, a bit more. There's been a previous repair before here, and they've done such a great job that they left a great big rusty hole there. Bit miffed as to where I can begin to sort this out, to be honest, because this is one hell of a mess. There's 5, 6, maybe even 8 different sections to this, so it's going to be quite time consuming, and I don't think I'm going to be getting it done in a day and a half like I thought I would. This is an absolute mess, this is. Somebody help me please, I've got to start this. I don't know where to begin. Okay, well I've done a bit more chipping away on James's Lexus. And I've marked out an area in yellow that I'd like to completely remove. We're going to need some work on the inside of the wheel arches as well, so I want to take this whole piece off here that somebody's put in as a repair before, and I've also found some holes that stretch quite far up the wheel arch actually, that need attention. We're really close to the fuel tank here, so I'm guessing I'm going to have to take the fuel tank off. Although it's steel, I don't really want to take any risks with that. This hole underneath I can now fit my hand in, and I've discovered another hole here. So there's an awful lot of welding to do. This, I think this is probably one of the worst sills I've looked at. Bobby's Saxo was something. My 406 wasn't that bad, but this is phenomenal. Stay tuned, and I'll update you as I go. I think I'm gonna have a look at the other side, and then we'll start stripping this down once the car's been moved, because it's going to be in here for a little while, I think. Right, as you can see, I've removed a piece of the rear axle support and marked out all my yellow. I'm just about to go in with an angle grinder. I won't make this too long. I'll pause the video in numerous places, so I don't have to edit it all later. I'm going to start with the outer piece because there's another layer just inside here. I want to know what's going on with that before I cut too deep. It'd help if I had a bit of electric, wouldn't it, eh? Alright, let's go. Oh, not the filler. Alright, we'll see if we can pry this piece off. Oh, there we go. I want to try and keep the form on this, so I've got a bit of a template for when it has to go back together. Come on, there we go. Wow, this is absolutely packed with filler. You can see big blobs of it in here. Somebody clearly didn't know what they were doing in the past. Lots of mud and sand. Loose material. Oh look. Those are tails poking through off previous welds. Try and keep this in shape, Chris, because you want this later. Well, I'm probably going to get my air saw out next, and we'll chop away at some of this good material here and just clean it up. So, my compressor's filled up. I'm going to go and get an airline. I'm going to start cutting that out. Right, I've got my air saw. Although I've changed my mind a little bit, I'm going to remove some of this so we can see what's going on behind here, and that'll give us some good access for the air saw as well. So this one's a bit tricky to get at because it's attached somewhere else. So I'm just going to cut this in half. And a bit of a wiggle. And maybe my saw, I'll have that out. This is double thickness here, if you can see. We'll have to make sure that when it goes back together, we get the two pieces as it is right now. Well, as it was before half of it fell out. Far up. Yeah, far up. Let's do this. Oh wow. I love how somebody's just plated over a rusty hole and they haven't even bothered to clean it up first. Yeah, door's open. Alright, James. Right. I'll pause the video, make a coffee, and we'll come back to this in a mo. Right, well I've made my coffee, and this piece here needs pulling out. I reckon this is gonna fall out. There we go. Yeah. Just pry all that off. Here we go, another big chunk. Surprisingly, there's no filler. Now I need to start cleaning up in here and just remove these last bits of rock now. By the looks of things, I'm gonna have to remake 2 mounts there. Which are chassis bolts to the rear axle bolts to. I think the list is starting to grow on this thing, beginning to look a bit never ending. Another layer in there? No. Go back a bit further with that one. Oh wow, where'd you stop? Huh. I'm gonna get that rubber bung out yet. There we go. So it's quite a thick piece of material in here actually. Still loads more prepping to do. Awful lot to cut out all up here. Another inch and a half won't hurt, will it? Mm. Hey, it's out. Right, well, we're back to some nice clean material here. Nice and smooth. Probably a little surprise hide in there. Should we see where this goes? Oh, time for a quick break. Right, well, I'm just about to take this bottom piece off. We have to be very careful with this because the fuel tank's right there. I think we're going to have to take this tank off. And, oh actually, alright, I think we might be able to get away with just dropping the tank down a little bit away from this, but we'll see how it goes. Right, I've decided I'm just going to take this little piece off at the bottom here. With a bit of luck I can cut some more out of this, which will provide me some decent access up here. And it also means that I can separate this little bit of trim off the bottom of this plate inside. There's my rubbish pliers. Yeah. Alright, mate. It's nice that we're starting to find some solid material. It's not 100% solid, but we're getting somewhere, mate. Wrong one. Fail. So I think that's spot welded onto that piece. Oh no, it's loose. Can I pull it out? Can I get under it? Can I go home yet? Get off! Okay, so how far down does this plate go? Quite a distance. Yeah, anyway. That's connected. And there, and there. Okay. Do this. Right, well, here's this big chunky plate. Gonna have to try and replicate this. But we're now starting to finally get somewhere on the clean-up. Got to take a bit off the back of here, neaten up this, and I'll neaten up there. And I guess we can give it a rust treatment and leave it overnight. Hopefully by tomorrow we'll have some clean metal and start making some pieces to start getting this back together with, I suppose. Right, let's do a bit more cutting. Right, just some spots to deal with now. And go around the other side and coming back through. There's Fag, James. Yeah. Finish you over there. Got my toolbox. So the drawer below the one that says snap on. Yeah. Trusty little £2.20 scribe. I've lost my pliers now. There we are. Maybe a bit more clean in here, mate, but yeah. I think we're ready to start cleaning up around the edges of all this, and then I can start fabbing some pieces up tomorrow. Right, let me out of here. Let's have a look then at the camera, and let me show you guys what we've done. So most of this is cut out now. Obviously you can still see a bit of brown, but this is still solid, absolutely solid. So that's going to get a rust treatment in a minute, and that'll get left overnight. Oh, that was hard work. Who'd have known a wire wheel could be so hard to work with. These things, they literally, if you catch on an edge, you've got an angle grinder flying towards you. They're really not very safe, so always got to think about protection. I'm going to have a go underneath. I should be alright without my big mask now. I've removed as much of the surface rust as I can with that. Probably just get a wire brush on the last few bits and we'll get this Bilt Hamber on. I'm going to go and look for a wire brush. Right, I think we're ready for some rust treatment now. It says in the bottle that this needs to be wrapped up in cling film. So I'll do that as well. There's not actually that much left to treat now, I've removed most of it. I think it's key to remove as much rust as possible when you're welding up a vehicle. You know, you can't be having anything like this where a plate's been welded over rust. You can't do that. It needs removing, and if you don't remove it, it's like cancer, it'll just keep spreading. Apparently this needs a thickness of about 3 or 4 mil on it, but we'll see how we get on, because I've taken off most of this now, this rust. I've been lucky for a rust treatment for quite some time. I don't think Q rust quite cuts it anymore. So I hope this does perform as well as all the Google reviews say it does. Nice thick coat. It does say to use a spatula, but I've run out of them. Them cows, they drive me mad out there. Fucking moo all day long. And they stink, them cows. Absolutely stink. Something rotten. Anyway, shut up, Chris. Stop waffling. Do some bloody work. Right, that's most of it, or at least that's where I need to weld treat it. Now we'll get this covered in shrink wrap and call it a day. Right, I've got my shrink wrap. Not sure how well it's going to take, how easy it's going to be to put on, but there's a will, there's a way. I think we're better off in small sections, so let's try and wrap this inner first. Lovely, look at that. This is to stop it from drying out, as they said on the bottle. Not sure how well I'm going to be able to wrap it, but anything's better than nothing. A little bit there, and I think that's that. Right, well, I suppose I can call it a day. Oh, obviously it doesn't look like I've achieved too much, but with welding, the key is getting into the prep. So this is all now shrink wrapped with the Deox gel. Is it Deox? Deox? No, it's Deox. And looks like I've missed a little bit there. So I'll plug the phone back down and sort out this little blob. Right, that's it. So don't forget to subscribe to my videos. If you want to subscribe, then you should be able to see the updates on this vehicle appearing on your YouTube feed. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.